I call this public hearing of Stow City Council to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Feldman, Reel,
Present.
Fioca,
Here.
McIntyre,
Here.
Bareneck, Herman,
Here.
Coffey. Here.
A quorum is present. The purpose of this meeting is to consider, or at least read to the public, one business item and ask for their comment. Could the clerk please read it by its title?
24-225, an ordinance amending Chapter 1143 of COS, particularly Section 1143.07E, entitled Fences, to allow for garden fences.
Are there any comments from members of the administration? Are there any comments from members of council? I will just say that I'm in total 100% support of this. Now comes the time in the meeting where we ask for comments from the audience. Should you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand. You'll be recognized by me. You'll be welcome to the lectern where you'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to have a comment on this issue at this time? Hold on. Perfect.
3855 Kent Road. I live a couple houses down from the property in question, and quite frankly, it's one of the most beautiful properties in our neighborhood. We live in a mixed-use neighborhood. The airport is 0.3 of a mile down the road, and there's a great big old fence there. And the self-storage facility is nearby, and that also has a great big old fence. One of our neighbors has a picket fence along their property line, and other neighbors have privacy fences for their side patios and fences along the borders of their property. So there are wooden fences and chain link fences, all in various states and conditions. And so I'm not really sure why, with all these fences in the neighborhood, that this one particular fence was singled out. But, we have airports, businesses, churches, homes, duplexes, apartment buildings in our neighborhood. So a man with a garden growing some zucchini to put on his, in his zucchini bread, and a fence is certainly not the most offensive thing in the neighborhood. And I would ask you to vote in favor of that ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Further comments from the audience? Mr. Chevalier.
Matthew Chevalier, 3759 Kent Road. I've been before you numerous times regarding this issue, and I want to say I appreciate your consideration in this matter. I appreciate the forward-looking aspect of what our community can be going forward, and giving people more agency to beautify and sort of empower their community with things like gardens. Now, unfortunately, this all came about because of deer, and I would love if we could address the deer problem on a separate entity and separate issue, but it would be a non-issue if that was not a problem. All the same, it is my desire that not just for my home, but also for any other residents, that they would feel empowered to provide for themselves to some degree, especially with the inflation we're all experiencing in every capacity. Also, just one thing to consider, front yards and backyards face different directions in Stow. Our front yard happens to face south, which means our backyard categorically unusable with the amount of shade that goes there and the lack of sunlight. So our rules about front yards and backyards being so categorically different need addressing when the sun doesn't care where your front yard or your backyard is. So I hope that this will help other people to engage in growing gardens at their homes and meeting their neighbors like we have. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Any other comment on this issue? Going once, twice. All right, so this piece of legislation had its first reading on November 7th. It had its second reading on December 5th, and I fully anticipate that it will receive its third and final reading and be up for a vote at our 7 o'clock meeting tonight. So do appreciate your work on this, and definitely sympathize with the many, many months that you've had to deal with this, but I do hope that we will get to a nice positive conclusion on this issue tonight. So, are there any further comments from members of council or the administration? Ms. Coffey.
Just a question. I received some feedback from a resident today, and I actually spoke with Mr. Chevalier today about this. But just to confirm, I guess, because I've also spoken with the planning director about this, my only concern is the subjectivity of it with the maintenance, and that was my resident's concern as well, is just that that people will not maintain them properly or have them look aesthetically pleasing. And then it would be cumbersome to their adjacent neighbors and take down their property values. That was just the concern. So I guess how will it be enforced to make sure that they're following these parameters?
Yeah, we have existing code regulations for fences in disrepair. So some of them are more obvious than others. If a fence is falling over, that's a good sign that's in disrepair. We can do a notice of violation for them to repair it or remove it altogether. So we already have those enforcement mechanisms.
Thank you.
Any other further comment? Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. Real. Mr. Cowan, I guess my question is, obviously this came as a zoning code rewrite. Why wouldn't a variance have been recommended and been a lot less lengthier process?
They did go through the variance process twice. The first time around, the BZA recommended, or they approved the variance with the condition that it had to be taken down, I think, by November 1st. And then before that time, they came through and applied again for a second variance to have it installed permanently. So they've gone through the process, and then at that same time, they wanted to propose to have the code changed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comment? Ms. Coffey.
One other question. I know we're going to be discussing cannabis businesses next week, but what would, as far as like growing marijuana with a garden fence, how would that work, Mr. Riley?
Sorry, my microphone that's in front of me just died. There are separate regulations from the state about home grow that require it to be screened from the public, locked from the public. They don't allow it to be visible. So I don't foresee a situation like a front yard situation like this where they're growing marijuana in their front yard. There's extensive state regulations. And I'd also say the city isn't allowed to regulate marijuana home grow. The state specifically says we maintain ownership over that. But it's not related to this per se.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comment? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. No's, abstentions. This public hearing is adjourned.
I call to order the Stow City Council Planning Committee meeting for January 9th, 2025. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Here.
Fioka,
Here.
Feldman, Baranek.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the December 5th minutes as circulated.
I'll second it. All those in favor, yes?
Yes.
That's 3 yeses. Planning Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. Just a few updates on some companies around Stow. We were made aware that TGI Fridays recently closed a couple weeks ago. The property owner reached out to the mayor and I to set a meeting to discuss possibilities for that property. So I'll keep you guys updated as I hear anything. Wingstop is open down on Kent Road. And a few weeks ago, the mayor and I attended a soft opening for AML 3D. They were a recipient of a income tax grant last year. This is their first U.S. location on Campus Drive, and they manufacture large-scale metal products, so we're happy to have them and hope to see them grow and Stow. And then for the next meeting, I'm expecting a CRA agreement to be reviewed by council. It's for a company relocating from Hudson to Stow with the intent to bring in about $2 million in payroll and construct a 40,000 square foot building. Happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Any questions for the planning director? Sorry. Mr. Fiocca.
Quick question. Any update on Isley's? I know they were front and center on the Beacon a couple weeks ago. Just didn't know status.
No status yet. I just know that the owner basically retired and closed down shop. I haven't heard any updates about it.
Thank you.
Any other? Mr. Real?
Yeah, so just 2 in Ward 1. So I was at El Campesino in December. They said that move was forthcoming. They had hoped to have it done by Christmas, but obviously I don't believe it's happened yet. So do we have an update on when that's
No updates on that one. That's been a difficult one to reach out to. So still no updates.
And then how about the bowling alley?
There's been some progress on it. Too early to get into details, but hoping it'll continue to move forward.
Okay. Excellent. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Mr. McIntyre.
Mr. Count, is there any updates on an opening date yet for Dick's Sporting Goods?
No, not yet. I'm expecting within the next couple months for them to have an opening. So once that happens, we'll let council know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We can move on to business items. First up is 25-021.
All right, thank you. This application is for a new fog building. This is going to be at 600 Seasons Road at the corner of Seasons and Allen Road. This entire property is 21 acres and it's zoned I-2 industrial. Also located in the Mudbrook setback overlay. And we're here for a site plan review and a couple of variances. All right, so this property consists of 7 different parcels. If this is approved, they will need to combine all those parcels to make one property at 21 acres. Just want to point out that the Mudbrook is running along the east side of the property and along the south end. That comes into play for a variance. All right, so I had to rotate the site plan. So north is on the right side where Seasons Road is. So this would be a 250,000 square foot facility. We set back 48 feet from Seasons Road, 80 feet from the west side, about 450 feet from the east side, which the east is facing Allen Road on the bottom of the screen, and then 132 feet from the rear property line at the nearest corner, which is from this corner to this corner of the building. Also included, they have a detention basin at the south end of the property and a bioretention basin over on the west side. Then looking at parking, it catches up. I'll skip ahead. Parking, they are providing 134 spaces to be installed at the time of the building. 312 spaces are required, which is based on 1 space per 800 square feet, which is quite a large amount for these types of uses. So they are requesting a variance for 178 spaces. Also part of this plan, they are accounting for 64 spaces at the south end of the building to be land banked. So that's just room for those 64 spaces to be installed in the future as needed. But the variance is based on the parking that is being proposed at the installation. Landscaping plan, 6% of the parking lot will be landscaped with islands and 9 trees, which meets the 5% minimum. There will also be 11 trees installed along Seasons Road and then over 126 shrubs around the building. And this plan was approved by the landscape arborist. All right, and then we get into the Mudbrook setback. So within the overlay, where there's a stream or a wetland, there are certain setback requirements based on the drainage area of that stream or wetland. In this case, the stream requires a 75-foot setback. So within that setback, you can't have any type of structures or construction. The only alterations they are proposing within that setback are retention basin outlets, which one will be at the south end for the retention basin. It'll extend about 20 feet into that setback. Then the other one is on the west side for the bioretention one. That'll extend only a few feet into that setback. Sorry, lagging today. All right, next one. All right, elevation. Building will be 44 feet in height. Design will be consistent with the other fog buildings you see just west or just west of the property. Looking at the south and east elevations. I'm 2 slides behind, sorry. But that's all I really had for this one. Last slide I'll leave up, which has the variances. There is a condition of approval that the traffic study shall be reviewed and approved by the city engineer prior to issuance of a building permit. So I think they're in progress of getting that traffic study submitted, which will need to be approved before they get any permits. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Or if that, yes, Mr. McIntyre.
Who's the traffic study need to be approved by?
City engineer.
Okay, so planning commission wouldn't want to see what the results of that is?
If it determines that any improvements would need to take place on the property or off-site improvements that would alter the proposed site plan, it would need to go back through planning commission.
And what was the need behind the traffic study? Is it given the adjacent, how close it is proximity to Sullivan?
I would defer to city engineer for the traffic study.
That is correct. Sullivan and Allen. Potential impacts to both those intersections.
That was the need behind for the traffic study?
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Fiocca.
Just a quick question. I know the bike and hike trails next to that property, there's no issues with that being not operational during this I know there's another building that's up next to it as well. I didn't think the bike trail shut down or anything like that. I was just curious.
No, any improvements will just take place on this property.
property.
Yeah, shouldn't be any issues or disturbances with the trail.
Thanks.
If the applicant would like to speak, you're welcome to. But if not, that's fine. If any other members of council have any questions, Mr. McIntyre?
I had a question for the applicant if they are here to.
Yep. Just please state your name and address.
Keynote Circle, Cleveland, Ohio, 44131.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for speaking. On the corner of Allen Road, obviously looking at the different lots that are currently here now. Mr. Cowan, can you back up a few?
Yep.
It looks like it's like the first slide in the presentation. So the corner lot there, that's right on the corner of Allen Road, I know there's like an old outbuilding that sits there. That won't be part of this. Will it all be one?
No, if you can, it's hard to tell, but Mudbrook
Kind of goes right
separates
next to
that corner lot.
So that outbuilding, that's not a part, like that won't be removed as a part of this. I know it's been sitting there forever. It's dilapidated. It's only, I don't even know if there's anything in it.
I mean, if we decide to remove it, we would, but it's not part of the project because really all the project is west of Mudbrook.
Okay.
That outbuilding sits on the other side between the Mudbrook and Allen Road.
Okay. And now as far as water line, I guess I know for past developments, there's been come back to council because we have installed water lines. Is all the water line, this may not be a question for you, but more the city engineer, Mr. Cowan, the water lines that are in place on Seasons Road now are sufficient for this parcel?
Yes.
Okay. So I know there's been some cases on the other developments where we've
The
installed
other
water.
developments, we were extending
Correct.
a new road.
I didn't know if
we would be using the utilities that are on Seasons.
there is existing water line
Yes,
there.
there's water and sewer.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Thank you, Mr. Novacek. Thank you. We have a motion to move this on to tonight's agenda.
Move to take resolution.
Move this to the council agenda this evening.
Second.
All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And 3 yeses. Thank you. This will move on to tonight's agenda. Thank you for coming. Next on our agenda, item 25-022.
Thank you. This project is at 4401 and 4411 Kent Road. Property is currently 1.39 acres in Zone C4. We are reviewing an application for lot split and variances. So this property contains the Midas and a retail building at the rear of the property, which is 6,600 square feet. That building contains a dog groomer, chiropractor, insurance company, U.S. Nails, and Smoker Friendly back there. So this project is to split the parcel so each building is on its own lot, which has become quite common. We're seeing more and more. So with this split, there are parcel A will require variance from the minimum lot area. They're proposing for it to be at 31,500 square feet, where 40,000 square feet is required in the zoning district. And this parcel will also not have any road frontage. Our code requires 120 feet minimum to have public frontage. They will have access served by an existing 25-foot drive easement, which you can see on the plan. No other variances are needed. They have sufficient parking. 28 spaces are required, and they're providing 30 on this lot. And then parcel B, they only need variance for the lot size. Again, 40,000 square feet is required. This one will just be under 30,000 at 29,445 square feet. Again, no other variances. They have sufficient parking for this lot as well. That's all I have for this presentation. I'll leave this up for review. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the planning director? Or do we have the applicant here if they are interested in speaking? Or okay. Any other discussion?
I'd like to move this on the council agenda this evening.
Second?
Moved in second. All in favor? Yes.
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 And that's 3 yeses. This will move on to our council agenda for tonight. Now we are in our public comment period. Anyone who wishes to speak about any planning or zoning issues may approach the podium or raise your hand. Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
I'd like to call the Finance Committee meeting to order and have the clerk please call a roll.
Baranek,
Here.
Feldman, McIntyre,
Here.
Herman.
Here.
Okay. Move on to the next item, which is the approval of minutes from the December 5th meeting.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Any abstentions? Any? Okay. The minutes have been approved. Finance Director's report. Mr. Toppin.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. Just short follow-up on where we're at. We are closing out fiscal year 2024. Our goal here is to get this closed out within the next week or so that we can provide council with a report on our wrap-up for 2024. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Toppin? Seeing none, let's move on to business items. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is the gas bill. Happy to answer any questions.
Move to move 25001 to tonight's council agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions, that gets moved on to council agenda. Mr. Toppin.
Thank you, Mr. Beranek. This is just an ordinance, our annual request to enter into a contract with CBIS Direct for postage for our utility billing services for the year 2025.
Any questions for Mr. Toppin? Seeing none? Oh, nope. Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That will be moved on to council agenda this evening. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Beranek. This is for 4 different pieces of equipment from Revels. The Gator, the Buffalo blower, the truck with top dresser, and then the greens groomer. These are just basic items used to maintain the course. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Moran? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
That will be moved on to council agenda this evening. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Beranek. We are requesting legislation with DLZ to provide the city with professional engineering services for the Echo Road Stormwater Management Study. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Jones? Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, what's the timeline? Is there a timeline for something to be returned back to the city as a part of this?
The completion is April 30th for the completion of the study.
And what's the ultimate intent behind this? Is it to come back with a solution to the problem, or to come back and tell us that we have a problem?
Come back with solutions for multiple areas between Echo Road and Highwood Ave, the areas where we have current complaints on file and current issues. We are asking DLZ to provide recommendations on how to improve those problems.
And once that recommendation comes back, it would require a separate piece of legislation to actually come to design whatever those recommendations would be, correct?
For this one, yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Jones? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Abstention? No. We are moving that on to the agenda. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Beranek. This is for a 2024 Chevrolet dump truck. This replaces a 1991 dump truck. Preston is holding the truck for us. If we came to council and asked to have a new one built, it would take 12 months to do. So we're hoping that we can get this and put it in the fleet. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren on this item? Mr. McIntyre.
Mr. Wren, is this on the capital? This is a piece of equipment that was on the capital list?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Against? That moves on to council agenda. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Beranek. We're requesting legislation with Kimley Horn to provide the city with professional engineering services for the assessment, design, and develop construction plans for the Homewood Stormwater Improvement Project. Be happy to answer your questions.
Any questions for Mr. Jones? Just one. Mr. McIntyre.
Mr. Jones, does this take into account the property that we purchased, I think it was several years ago, due to flooding, and I know it was bought in consideration for helping to alleviate stormwater issues there off of Hibbard?
This is on Homewood.
Oh, I know, but that property backs up to Homewood, I believe, doesn't it?
No, that property is it backs up to Meadowbrook
Meadowbrook
Boulevard.
and Hibbard. Oh, you're correct. Okay,
Yep.
Meadowbrook and Hibbard. All right, thank you.
Yep. This
Any
is the
other
west
questions?
side.
Any other questions for Mr. Jones? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Against? That moves on to council agenda. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Beranek. This is for mainly irrigation parts for the golf course. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Against? That moves on to council. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Beranek. This is for Acushnet, which is Titleist, for resale merchandise at the clubhouse that we have a 28% profit margin on. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against? That moves on to council agenda this evening. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is for fertilizers and chemicals for the golf course. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren on the fertilizer? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Against? Abstentions? That one moves on to agenda. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is also for fertilizers and chemicals, just different brands, as well as seed for the golf course.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against? Abstentions? That moves on to the council agenda. Mr. Wren.
This is for fuel for the golf course. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Against? Abstentions? That moves on to council agenda. Chief Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. The fire department is requesting to be able to purchase 5 heart monitors. Our heart monitors, the service agreement and the availability of the maintenance on them expired on December 31st. And we need to make this purchase. We tried to get an AFG grant as we did with the last purchase of heart monitors. We did not succeed at that. So we are requesting to purchase these new heart monitors at a cost of, I think, $291,000 some odd dollars. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Chief Stone? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against? And that moves on to council agenda. We're going to jump back one. I skipped one. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is for Coca-Cola for resale at the golf course.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against? Abstentions? That one's on. Mr. Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is our annual contract with the Summit County Public Defenders Commission to provide indigent defense over at the Stow Municipal Court. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Riley? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against? And that moves on to council agenda. Ms. Narstead.
Yes, this is a request to go out to bid for the SOAR playground project. The playground surface replacement. The current playground surface has deteriorated significantly in the newer section, and replacement is necessary to address potential safety concerns. We will look at some surfacing options, durable, high-quality options, including turf and rubber to enhance the safety, and we really want to get some longevity out at the current surface did not last as long as we expected. And then, of course, address accessibility. We are hoping, though, if things come in less than what we originally anticipated, that maybe we can pull out the older section components of the playground and maybe get a couple of new components for that area. So we'll go out to bid on all of it, but of course, if the surface needs the total attention, we will go with that and worry about the older section later. But the intent is to replace the surface in the old and new section. The new section of the playground is in relatively good condition, the actual components, just not the surface. And that doesn't require any immediate attention. So it allows us to focus on the critical areas. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Narstead? Mr. McTire.
Thank you. Mrs. Narstead, the old equipment, that's what you're referring to, I think it's to the west of the newer equipment.
Yes.
That would be replaced. You're saying depending on what the cost comes in for the surface around the newer stuff would determine whether or not we would replace some of the older equipment?
Yes.
Is it the intent regardless if we replace that to pull that older equipment?
Yes.
No matter what? Okay. And I guess, is there anything that would stop you from coming back to council to ask for more money to replace the equipment? No. If the intent is to replace the equipment, then and we're already going to be there, why not do it?
Will do.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Narstead? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against? That will be moved on to council. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is the electric bill.
I move to move 25-19 onto tonight's council agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Against? That will be moved on to council agenda tonight. Police department is on here tonight.
I'm requesting Finance Committee approval authorizing the expenditure of up to $21,783 to Whiteford Insurance Service for a one-year commercial package policy. This expense is a pass-through expenditure that is paid out of membership dues.
Any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on the council agenda?
So moved.
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Against, abstentions, that moves on to council agenda tonight. Mr. Renner.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is for tailor-made for resale merchandise, which we have a 29% profit margin on.
A little confusion at this end of the table. Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I motion to move this on to council?
So moved. The tailor-made golf.
Yeah.
Right.
The radio's not what your insurance. You skip 20.
Which one is it?
Mr. Baranek, I'll take the item Q. The radios. Chief Thome was not able to make it for that.
23. Okay, 23.
Voting on 23 right now. Motion is
Moved and seconded on motion for item R on our agenda, which is 23. Any, all in favor?
yes.
Against? That will get moved on to council agenda. I guess we went out of order with what we did. I think we,
You skipped item Q. Q. The back page. Q.
okay, we skipped Q. So let's go back to Q. Chief Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Bear. We threw you off a little bit. Chief Thome was not able to be here, so I'm going to handle the radios for him. I would like to be able to do it like Mr. Wren. This is so we can use our radios for the next 5 years in Summit County. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Chief Stone? Hearing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council agenda?
Second.
Move and second and move on council agenda. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions, that gets moved on to council agenda.
Mr. Vernick, before we move forward, I just
Sure.
want to make sure that we move. W is what Lieutenant Bell discussed, right? So that already received its approval.
Right.
I just to clear the air. All right, thank you.
Okay, so now hopefully we're back on track again for the second time.
We're on S.
We're on S, which is Mr. Wren.
What is it? Oh, that's for, it's our main food supplier at the golf course for resale. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move 24 on to council agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions? That one gets moved on to council agenda. Okay, Mr. Cowan.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is requesting to enter into contract with Allscapes to continue tall grass pavement in the city.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Cowan? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions? That one moves on to council agenda. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is for Pitney Bowes for postage for the clerks and judges. They are a sole source provider because we are leasing a machine from them. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on to council agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions? That gets moved on to council agenda. Let's see. Mr. Wren again.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is for Verizon Communications for approximately 76 phones and 112 data devices used throughout the city. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move this on the council agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions, that gets moved on to council agenda.
Mr. Baranek,
Yes.
on W, when we made that motion, was that a motion to move it onto the council agenda, or was that a motion to approve? So we need to actually take up W, because we made a motion to move that onto council, and it only requires a motion of the finance committee.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So you just take it up again.
Yeah, we'll take up again right now. Okay. We're going to talk about item W, which is the Wicked Insurance. Do I have a motion to accept?
I move to approve the Wicker Insurance commercial renewal for Metro SWAT.
Second.
As indicated, it was just a pass-through.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Against, abstentions, that one is approved. Let's move on to the next item. Mr. Toppin.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is for requesting approval, authorizing a contract for expenditure of up to $24,000 for CBIS Direct for utility billing services. They are keeping their prices the same as 2024. There was no increase. The services provided with this are the printing, the inserting, the barcoding, pre-sorting, and delivery to the post office by CBIS Direct.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Toppin? Seeing none,
I move.
do I have a motion to approve?
Yeah, move to approve. CBIS billing.
Second.
services.
Second, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions, that has been approved. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Baranek. This is for telephone and fiber services for 2025. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wren? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve this motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Against, abstentions, that is approved. Now, this is a point in time where we have asked for public comment. If you have any comment, please approach the microphone, podium, and state your name and address for public record. Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Move and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Legislation where we can only go up to letter like K or something.
But I got through it 15 minutes.
We're flying. Aren't we?
No, I understand. It's just, it's so I try to do it. Figure it out, yeah.
I call this committee of the whole meeting of Stow City Council to order. I am Vice President Matt Reel. President Kyle Feldman is absent tonight. All other members of council are present. First up, the approval of minutes from December 5th. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. No's, abstentions. Those minutes stand approved. The Law Director's report, Mr. Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just one thing to report. On January 30th at 1 p.m., I will be holding my first of quarterly scamming prevention seminars at the Community and Senior Center. Invite any senior or person who's interested in preventing scams in their life to attend that. Happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Questions for Mr. Riley? All right, seeing none, we will move on to business items. We are going to take things a little out of order until our guests arrive for the fire safety poster contest. But first up is a piece of legislation requested by the Civil Service Commission. Who is speaking on behalf of that commission tonight?
I believe I am.
Okay.
This is the fire department has had some challenges hiring people these days. It's becoming competitive, and we are trying to keep up with some of the other area departments that have lowered their age limits. And our current age limit is at 21. We've requested to lower our age limit to 20. A lot of departments are going to 18. We don't feel that would be feasible for us because at age 18, you can't be, you're not a firefighter, you're probably not a paramedic either. We require you to be a paramedic. By the time you're age 20, you could become a paramedic. It's just the logistics of it wouldn't work for us unless we went to that. We actually have a couple individuals that are on our current list that would have been eligible to be hired already had we at age 20 for our limit. But so that's what we are requesting with this change.
Thank you. Questions? We certainly want to remain competitive and bring in the best talent. So.
Absolutely.
With that, I will entertain a motion to assign a number to this and move it forward to tonight's city council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Noes, abstentions. That item will appear on tonight's agenda. Item number C, I believe this is you.
Yes, currently we have to have 6 posting places, and one of the current ones is the senior center, which will not be used, and I want to replace it with the new community and senior center.
Thank you. Questions from Ms. Botcher? All right. Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to assign a number to this and move it forward to tonight's city council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. That item will appear on tonight's agenda. IT request, Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Reel. This is simply to change the name of the department from Information Services to Information Technology, as it should have been the entire time.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for Mr. Wren? All right. Seeing none, is there a motion to assign a number to this and move it forward to tonight's city council meeting?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Noes, abstentions. That item will appear on tonight's agenda. Mr. Wren.
Thank you, Mr. Reel. Quite honestly, if anyone has any questions on these, I would ask that they be held. I do not have the information on it. The mayor is caught up in an appointment right now. So if there are questions, I would suggest holding them. If there are no questions, we would appreciate your approval.
Does anyone have any questions, concerns, objections on these items?
I have a question not related to these appointments, but related to the topic of appointments. Is the mayor, or is there any movement on appointments that the council will be taking up for the Charter Review Commission?
Mr. Riley can answer that.
I believe that the intention of the mayor is to bring up the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any else? All right. So I will entertain motions to reappoint Roger Bolins to the Senior Citizens Commission, Drew Ramito to the Senior Citizens Commission, Jason Gates to the Commission on Inclusion, Susie Liberatore to the Commission on Inclusion, and Taryn Cook to the Commission on Inclusion. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Noes, abstentions. Those appointments are made, and we thank those residents for their service to the city of Stow. We're moving on at a good pace, so let's go into executive session. I will entertain a motion to recess into executive session to discuss the following: the appointment and compensation of a public employee.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek. Yes. McIntyre.
Yes.
Reel.
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
We are now in executive session. We are back from executive session where we discussed the appointment and compensation of a public employee, section 12122G1 of the Ohio Revised Code. 2 legislative items are coming out of that session. Will the clerk please read the first by title?
An ordinance confirming the mayor's appointment of Valerie Huddleston as Recreation Assistant of the Parks and Recreation Department of the City of Stow, establishing compensation for said appointee and declaring an emergency.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to assign a number to this and move it forward to tonight's city council meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Noes, abstentions. That item appears on tonight's agenda. Second item.
An ordinance confirming the finance director's appointment of Haley Heilman as tax supervisor of the finance department of the city of Stow, establishing compensation for said appointee and declaring an emergency.
I move to assign a number to this and move forward to tonight's city council meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Noes, abstentions. That appears on tonight's agenda. We have one business item left, and we are just waiting for a few of our visitors to arrive. Is that the case, Chief Stow?
We have a few more minutes to wait, yes.
All right. Sure. Well, actually, you know what? We'll do public comment if there's anybody here that would wish to make a public comment. So now comes the time in the public meeting where we ask for comments from the audience. Should you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand. You'll be recognized by me. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. Anything that you do say will become part of the permanent record. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to make a comment at this time? Yes.
I do thank the Vice President for recognizing me. Let me pull out my phone so I can pace myself within the 3-minute limit. My name is Andrew Branch. I'm a resident at 3764 Elm Road, Stow, Ohio, and I'm speaking here because I unfortunately cannot attend the hearing at the next meeting regarding the regulation of cannabis dispensaries in Stow. And I thought my comments would be useful to this body in crafting policy and any legislation or enforcement of said policies in these dispensaries. And I think it's important because I really don't think any other people who go to Stow Monroe Falls High School may want to come up here and talk about this because it can be an uncomfortable topic. But I want to talk about the issue of how there are a lot of students at Stow who illegally use cannabis. And I know at our school system, it is a lot better than other schools. I will say that, but it is so much worse of a problem than any of us realize. And I can attest to that because I see so many students, they come to school under the influence, they can't learn as effectively, and it brings down our school scores. But second, they drive under the influence of these substances. And this poses a danger both to them, my peers, but also to the rest of the residents of Stow. And let me just look at my notes real quick. So my issue is I'm not advocating for any specific policy because it's up to this body to craft the policy necessary to tackle these issues. But regarding this amendment, we can't just ban cannabis dispensaries to stop this issue. You may want to do that. You may want to think, oh, well, we can ban them and therefore people won't be able to access them. But people are just going to go to Kent. People are just going to go to Cuyahoga Falls, and then that tax revenue goes to those cities. What I believe that this council should focus on is actually enforcing and focusing on these cannabis dispensaries and these vape stores that sell these products to these children. And it may seem like our enforcement is good. Our enforcement could be so much better. And I've heard countless stories from my peers that a lot of these people can just walk into these stores and purchase these substances. And my point is, we need to pass policy that enforces these rules and these laws against these stores and to stop these minors from purchasing it in the first place, because these minors can purchase it. Even though it might seem like these rules are being enforced, these minors, I'm not exaggerating, are walking into these stores and purchasing cannabis. They're purchasing vapes in neighboring cities or our city, and that's how they get access to these substances. So my point is, this body should craft more policy to enforce these rules and to stop them from happening in the first place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief Film, could you please talk about some of the activities that the Stow Police Department are taking around this issue? I know that for a while there we were doing buys or undercover buys with vape shops in the community. Like what else? Is that still continuing? And I guess what other actions are we taking?
Well, normally that wouldn't be something that we would publicize. We are working.
We talked about it at the meeting already, so it's
yeah. So
cat's out of the bag.
we are working with our Summit County Drug Unit with the vape shops. We have just recently received additional complaints, and we are looking into it, and we are being as aggressive as possible that we can be. Yes. So yes.
So talk about this. I've actually had a lot of questions just from people with the marijuana issue passing. How do officers determine if someone is driving under the influence of marijuana? It's typically easy with alcohol, right? You have the breathalyzer.
Sure. Well, and the standard field sobriety testing that they receive from the state of Ohio, that they get certified in, they use those. Those tests are applicable to determine whether or not a person is under the influence of drugs also. And on top of that, we have what's the drug recognition experts. That we have 2 of those from the state of Ohio that have been certified through the state of Ohio. Matter of fact, one was called in this morning to test. He had just gotten off work, and he was called back in to test an individual who was under the influence of drugs. And it's actually a great program. It's a very long program. It's a very hard it has a test that they have to take and pass. I mean, it's a very stringent program. And what we do in Summit County, we are a certain region, and we actually share DREs with other departments. And so our officers will respond to other locations, and their DREs will also respond to ours in case we don't have an officer available.
And then how about at the high school? What are the
actually our captain met with Lieutenant Miller. Our Captain Snavely met with Lieutenant Miller, our SRO today, with Mark Treen, with the principal at the high school, and our SRO Bethany Childers today, and they discussed a plan moving forward to deal with some of these issues. And I will tell you this, that with the new superintendent also, we have a very good working relationship with the high school, and we are tackling those complaints as they come forward.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's an oversaturation, I would say, of vape shops in the community, particularly with our population. So I would just ask if you have any ideas, thoughts, concerns, legislative ideas. Feel free to reach out to any member of council with them. We'd be happy to consider them. And legislating is not always the cleanest process, but we could hopefully get to some sort of solution. So again, we have one item left. We're waiting for our visitors to arrive.
Could we comment?
It's hold on. This is Kyle Feldman's favorite meeting of the year. So he does pass along his regret for not being here. He actually texted me and asked me to say that. So Kyle, we miss you. We wish you were here. I'll make sure I pass it along to the parents as well when they get here. Mr. Riley and then Mr. Herman.
Yeah, just on enforcement too. There's also interest at the state. I think council's probably aware of Delta 8 and Delta 9 as well, which is a different, it's a derivative of the cannabis, but it's from the hemp product. That isn't regulated the same way that regular recreational cannabis is. And that's probably what you're seeing at these vape shops. There is interest at the state to change that law to regulate that more. So I've been following that because that's going to be another interesting part of enforcement that we're looking into as well. So I just want to make sure the council's aware that there are some changes at state law to the regulation as well that could help as well.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to add that marijuana use at our high school has been a problem for at least 20 years because it was back when I was there. And I'm sure that there are other people up here who can very vividly remember it. And most of the students know how to spot it in ways that were kind of perplexing to us at the time of why the adults didn't seem to realize that every day before and after school, the bike trail by the pool hall smelled like marijuana, and yet there seemed to be no enforcement against it. And then just to Mr. Riley's point as well, this problem seems to be with underage people using the marijuana is that they're not getting it from the cannabis dispensaries. They're getting it from the black market. They're getting it from these low quality, unregulated vape shops and stuff. Whereas the actual cannabis dispensaries, I've actually visited a couple of them in the area as sort of like research trips. They're very heavily regulated, more like pharmacies than vape shops or anything. Like you have to go into a reception, give them your ID. They wait to unlock a door to send you into a back room where they check your ID again. There's no products sitting out. You consult with a pharmacist type of person, and then they go and retrieve the product from a back room. It is like specialized with a prescription to you. And so I would feel that the problem itself would not be with these very well regulated dispensaries. The problem would be with the unregulated versions. And in fact, having, one or two dispensaries in the city might actually help put some of those black market or vape shops out of business, if in a way that would be even harder for students to access them.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been an issue for a long time. Immortalized in the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Jeff Spicoli, iconic character. So, Chief Stone, what do you think? Where are we at?
We are still waiting for 4 families to arrive before we'll be ready.
So, are we fully expecting them to arrive?
We are expecting them to arrive, yes.
Okay, so we have plenty of time. It's 6:16. What I will do is let's recess this committee until 6:30. Is that right?
That works, yes.
All right. So I will entertain a motion to recess this committee of the whole meeting of City Council to 6:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes? Abstentions? We will see you at 6:30. We are back from recess, and we have one item left. It is something that all members of council look forward to every year. It is the Fire Safety Awards, and I will turn it over to Firefighter Mel.
Awesome. So welcome tonight. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to make it this evening to our 57th Fire Safety Poster Contest Award Ceremony. This year we had participants from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and it just so happened that we had an even amount for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade as well. So when we get these posters, we don't know who does them, so we are not biased, all right? So we we judge it solely off of the artwork, and then once we have those 12 selected, that's when we flip them over to find out their name, what school they go to, and what grade they're in. So we had just over 385 posters this year, so to be in the top 12, you guys did an awesome job, so that is a very, very big accomplishment. Yesterday, I forgot I have this clicker too. Maybe. Can you click the slide? Thank you. All right, so yesterday we had our luncheon over at Station 1, and we were fortunate enough to have Bellasinos donate all 12 lunches for our winners. There were quite a few parents there as well this year, so that was very nice to see. So huge thank you to Bellasinos for doing that year after year. They got to hang out with a couple guys on our crew, watch one of our guys go down the fire pole. We went through all of the trucks and everything too, and then we took them back to school. So they got to miss school for a little bit, which was a good thing. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and present our awards. So if I could have our fire chief, Mark Stone, and our mayor, John Pervonic, come up front. They have medals and certificates for all of our winners. So once I call your name, if you wouldn't mind standing up, coming up to the front to get your awards, we have Abdul. He's going to be getting your photo as well. So don't run off as soon as you get your stuff. We'll get a quick photo of you, and then you can sit back with your families. So our first winner that I would like to announce is Charlie Minnick. Charlie is in 3rd grade at Holy Family. You can't tell too well from this photo, but her poster uses materials to add depth and has parts that physically open and close, which caused her poster to really stand out to us, literally. Her poster reminds us to always have 2 ways out of your home if there's a fire. Awesome job, Charlie. All right. You're going to keep her up here? Sounds good. See if it... All right. So the next winner I'd like to announce is Avery Harris. Avery's in the 3rd grade at Fish Creek. When we saw Avery's poster, we were blown away to find out this was done by a 3rd grader. I mean, when I was in 3rd grade, I think I was drawing stick figures. So this is really, really well done. Her message went along with this year's theme for Fire Prevention Week, which focuses on smoke alarms. She even included the steps to take when your smoke alarm goes off, which we really loved. Well done, Avery. Our next winner is Marie Renard. Marie is in the 3rd grade at Fish Creek. You'll find out tonight there are a couple winners that are actually siblings of previous winners that we have had in the past, and she is one of them. Her Sparky the Fire Dog was what stood out to us first, which was really well drawn. Her message was clear and reminds us some key information when it comes to installing, testing, and replacing smoke alarms. Awesome job, Marie. I would like to announce Gianna DeSanto up. Gianna is in the 3rd grade at Highland. She also is a sibling from a past winner, which goes to show that talent really can run in a family. We loved her creative message while including key fire safety education messages as well. Her poster was very neat and easy to read, which made it an easy choice to select as a winner. Nice job, Gianna. The fifth winner I would like to announce is Sithu Costa. Sithu is in the 4th grade at Woodland. Her message of before cooking, make sure a grown-up is looking, reminds us that children should always get permission before they start cooking. Cooking is actually the #1 reason for house fires, which makes her message an important one. Such an awesome poster, and good job well done, Sithu. All right, the next winner I would like to announce is Roman Berry. Roman is in the 4th grade at Holy Family, and he's actually a returning winner from last year's contest. We loved his creative message of don't ignore the chirp or someone could get hurt, which reminds us to change the battery in our smoke alarms, hopefully before they start chirping. We could tell he spent a lot of time on his artwork and coloring his poster too. Awesome job, Roman. Our next winner is Dakota Savnik. Dakota is in the 4th grade at Indian Trail. We loved all the awesome fire safety messages he included in his poster. The left side states things we should do when it comes to fire safety, while the right side shows things we shouldn't do. He even added glitter to his artwork, which made his poster stand out from others. His key message at the top of his poster tells us that we shouldn't hide and to go outside when there is a fire. Nice job, Dakota. I would like to announce Julia Hagedorn. Is that right? Yes, okay. As our next winner, Julia is in 4th grade at Fish Creek. When we saw her poster, we had to double check that it wasn't done by a professional, even though she could be one. Her message reminds us to have a fire escape plan at home, which is something most families don't have. Her artwork is awesome, and I love how she used smearing pencil marks for her smoke, which was super creative. Well done, Julia. The next winner I would like to announce is Henry Gaias. Henry is in 5th grade at Lakeview. His message was unique and an idea we don't see often in other posters. He reminds us that we have 2 minutes, 120 seconds, or less to get out of the house once our smoke alarms sound. His poster was very artistic, and the time we could tell that he spent on just drawing and coloring that fire alone was super impressive. Nice job, Henry. The next winner I'd like to announce is Jace Renner. He could not make it this evening. He was our last winner, actually, of the night that was a sibling of a former winner. And I did want to point out that Marie, Gianna, and Jace all had brothers who won before. And since I come from a family with older brothers, I really like that you guys kind of took the spotlight from them. You know, didn't show them any mercy. So nice touch. Jace showed us a lot of creativity in his poster, and the comment of him being a professional cartoonist came up in discussion. Awesome job, Jace. All right, the next one. The 11th winner I would like to announce is Karina Altamari. Karina is in 5th grade at Holy Family and is a 3-time returning champ, which doesn't happen very often. It's only happened one other time. So that's an accomplishment in itself. Her message of having working smoke alarms in bedrooms is an important one, especially for children who tend to be deep sleepers. I also want to point out that when I was explaining the rules and everything for the contest to both 5th grade classes at Holy Family, they all were just saying that Karina's going to win. So I guess they were right. So nice job, Karina. The last winner I would like to announce is Wesley Stratton. Wesley is in 5th grade at Holy Family. I always love a holiday-themed poster because most fires do occur in the winter. His poster was very clean and neat, which we really enjoyed. His message is directed around chimney fire safety, which is a topic we don't see too often in our posters. So it's a very important one to cover, though. Well done, Wesley. So at this time, we'll take a big group shot All right, so we'll have smaller ones up front, taller ones in the back. Like we practiced yesterday, right? You guys remember? Yeah, you're up front. So I promise all of these photos are for a reason, guys. All right. So you will get a calendar once we get them all printed. Take a look. This will come out closer to the end of this month once we get all the pictures added in and everything. I'll send them home with the kids at school. So just keep an eye out for a giant yellow envelope. You can't miss it. But if you guys need more or anything like that, feel free to call me. But this does go out to the city as well. So if for any reason you didn't take any photos tonight, don't worry. We will send those out to you as well. So I'll send a link to all of those emails that you sent in to me, and you'll have all the photos that we have taken yesterday and today. All right. So the next award, I would like to, oh, there was the background. Oh, well. The next award I would like to announce is our graphic award winner. Premier Printing and Signs, they are the company that provides all of our poster paper, and they actually create these calendars for you guys. They pick the winner because I don't want that pressure. So they pick our graphic winner every single year. And after the winner is selected, their picture and poster actually go on the side of my safety vehicle, if you guys saw that walking in tonight. So it goes on the side of the vehicle for the entire year, which is really cool. This year, the poster they selected had super unique artwork and was one of the first posters that were actually selected as a finalist. So we would like to present this award to Karina Altamari. So come on up. All right. So another part of our ceremony that I enjoy is the selection of our 2 bike certificate winners. We get a donation from Charles Corcoran of the Oak Group, Marty's Bike Shop, and Eddie's Bike Shop. They all contribute and donate, so we're able to provide 2 $250 gift certificates to 2 of our lucky winners. And we will randomly select these in our helmets here. So the first one we will draw for will be for Eddie's. So if one of our council members would like to pick the name.
If you win, it's from Councilman Rio. If you didn't win, it's Councilman Herman.
Roman Berry. I got a piece of paper. Hang on. It's stuck. There we go. Yes, Eddie's. Oh, I'm in this. Okay. All right, and the next one will be for Marty's Bike Shop. Anyone else? Yeah, who's it gonna be? Draw names. And Wesley Stratton. All right, so I'll make sure to call the parents of those winners tomorrow. We'll set up a time that we can meet next week at the bike shops to get a photo with the owners and also to get your actual certificate, because I wish that would work to buy them, but it doesn't. All right. So, being selected as a poster contest winner doesn't just end tonight. You all are invited to attend our 4th of July parade, where you will ride on top of our fire truck with one of your parents. All right, so make sure to keep an eye out for details. I'll send those closer to the date as well, but that's something to look forward to as well. We wanted to thank everyone for joining us tonight, including our sponsors, City Council, poster winners, and families. Extra thank you to City Council for letting us take over your meeting for a little bit. We'll try to get out of here fast so you guys can continue that. Don't leave quite yet. You'll join us in the lobby. I'm sorry, guys, there's going to be more photos. All right, so we're going to take some more photos, but there's also some goodie bags for our winners as well as cookies and refreshments. So make sure to not leave quite yet. Hang out with us a little bit there in the lobby, and then we'll send you on your way. All right, so that concludes tonight's ceremony. So if you would just stand up and head out to the lobby, we will meet you out there shortly. Thank you. Where is he? Tell him I got under time, so I'll need my $5 tip when
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that was an awesome presentation. It's always great to see all the different posters and the artwork and proud moms, dads, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. So really cool. Look forward to that every year. So that is the conclusion of the committee of the whole agenda tonight. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. This meeting is adjourned, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock. I call this City Council meeting of Stow City Council to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Here.
Coffee,
Here.
Baranek,
Here.
McIntyre,
Here.
Reel,
Present.
Fioka,
Here.
Feldman.
Please rise for the prayer and pledge of allegiance led tonight by Ward 3 Councilman John Baranek.
Thank you. Bow our heads. Heavenly Father, grant this council the wisdom and courage to know what to do is right and good and true. May they speak out when it's time to speak out and listen patiently and receptively when it's time to listen. May they always be guided by the spirit of the community and by the spirit of justice and spirit of love in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any proclamations or commendations?
No, Mr. President, we don't.
Thank you very much. Next up is the approval of minutes. You have before you have the minutes from December 5th, 2024. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Those minutes stand approved. You also have the January 2nd organizational meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Those minutes stand approved. Now comes the time of the meeting where we ask for comments from the audience. Should you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand. You'll be recognized by me. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak, and anything you say will become part of the permanent record. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to make a comment at this time? All right. Mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Reel. Usually January is one of those months that we all hibernate, and this has not been the exception with snow, but we have a lot of exciting things going on this January. First of all, Jenny's Desserts will be opening in about 2 weeks. Jenny is a hometown person who's been in Stow her whole life, and she's finally made her dream of opening her own bakery, and that's right over there by the courthouse. So she's actually going to have a storefront, and like I said, so everybody keep an eye out for that. It's very exciting because we are in need of bakeries and that around our city that are small time. The next big news, again in August, it was bad news for Stow Donut. Stow Donut will be opening either tomorrow or Saturday. And so that's big news as far as it's concerned. I know everybody has missed Stow Donut and is anxiously waiting for their arrival. The biggest news, thanks also to City Council, is this Sunday, January 12th. We have the grand opening of our Community Senior Center, and that is from 1 to 4. I invite each and every one of you to attend. Ribbon cutting will be at 1:45. So again, we will also have shovel service, right, Mrs. Narstadt? And we'll have shovel service if the parking lot does fill, and it's at Fish Creek. So again, if you feel like braving the cold, I hear it's going to be 30, so that's a little bit warmer. Please come out, check it out. I guarantee you are not going to be disappointed. And again, another big thank you to our City Council for funding this initiative. It's not only something that was greatly needed, but also now it is really a top-notch, beautiful facility. So with that being said, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Questions for the mayor? I just want to thank you, and I want to thank Mr. Wren as well as the service department. The holiday lights this year were fantastic. Lots of compliments from citizens in the community, and I mean that. When I was a kid, the Stow lights and the lighting ceremony was a big deal. Unfortunately, before your tenure, it wasn't a priority for previous mayors, but you brought that back, and you brought it back better than ever. So thank you for that. Lots of compliments on it, and it does get better every year. Is there any old business? How about a motion to excuse the absence of our president, Mr. Feldman?
Mr. President, I move to excuse the absence of at-large Councilman Kyle Feldman.
Second.
For a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. No's, abstentions. Mr. Feldman's absence is excused. He's going to come back. He's getting stronger every day, and he is going to come back ready for the next meeting. I spoke to him tonight. So, new business. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. So I asked the clerk to please read item number 1 by its title.
25028, an ordinance confirming the mayor's appointment of Valerie Huddleston as Recreation Assistant of the Parks and Recreation Department of the City of Stow, establishing compensation for said appointee and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. No's, abstentions. The rules are suspended.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
That ordinance passes and will take effect according to its terms. Item number B.
25029, an ordinance confirming the finance director's appointment of Haley Haleman as tax supervisor of the finance department of the City of Stow, establishing compensation for said appointee and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion and second on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
That ordinance is adopted and will take effect according to its terms. Moving on to the disposition of ordinances and resolutions, items for their third reading. I ask the clerk to please read 24-225 by its title.
24-225, an ordinance amending Chapter 1143 of COS, particularly Section 1143.07E, entitled Fences, to allow for garden fences.
This received its first reading on November 7th, 2024, its second reading on the 5th, as well as its public hearing tonight, and that also constitutes its third reading. Is there a motion to adopt?
Second.
There's a motion and second to adopt. Any discussion? This is a long time coming, and I'm glad to see this moving forward. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
Ordinance 24-225 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. Ordinance number 24-226.
24-226, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the City of Stow to file grant applications for acquisition of the Mudbrook Wetlands Preserve Project.
That constitutes its third reading. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. Reel. Looking at this, I appreciate all the effort that went into getting my questions answered throughout the process. Tonight, I won't be supporting this. I look at a lot of things. One of the biggest things that I looked at was our Parks Master Plan, which is something that, there was a lot of effort and time put into that. There was statistically valid surveys that were done to the taxpayers, and nowhere that I could find in there was that it was a priority of the taxpayers of this town for acquiring new property, especially for the purposes of parklands. I know there's a good idea here that we could look at this of having future walking trails, a nature preserve, and things of that nature. Well, I say, we look at Adele Durbin, in its sense right now is almost like a nature preserve. I think when you look at the history of there's wildflower gardens that used to be there, existence. I know there's some plans there, Silver Springs, walking trails that could, that park. We're making a lot of effort to improve our parks. We still have a long way to go. I know we could do some improvements to the walking trails there. Heather Hills, I think, has walking trails there that could use a lot of work. So the last thing I think we need to do is looking at acquiring more land for the future use of parks when we have plenty of park space for the purposes of walking and taking in nature. Not to mention, I think I can't remember how long ago it was, this body, at the request of the mayor's administration, took away the cell phone tower fund. Obviously, given the direction that those technology has, the information that's provided us that it was probably the best offer that we were going to get at that time, just given cell towers and the way they're going are going to change. So that was a source of revenue that was designated for parks maintenance. So now some way moving forward, we have to find that revenue to continue the improvements to our parks. And I think at this time, acquiring new lands for the purposes of parks is not the best for the city, nor has it been a priority of the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. Mr. Herman.
Thank you. I don't know why we would say no to the possibility of exploring free land being acquired for the city. My understanding is that this resolution just creates the possibility for us to partner with the Western Reserve Conservancy in order to explore grants. It's not locking us into any financial commitments. It costs the city nothing to explore the possibility of acquiring this land, these pristine wetlands. This is a once in a generation opportunity to actually prevent a further encroachment on lands that, you know, we're not obligated to turn it into a park right away, but if we conserve the property for free now, it just creates the possibility that 5, 10, or 20 years from now, there may be interest in creating a park there. And I think that there is some danger in letting this opportunity pass us by for a couple reasons. One is that there is already a temporary cul-de-sac at the north end of the property off of Wyndham Ridge Road that has actually, I think last year, our planning director said that last year there was actually a proposal for a residential development to go in just to the south of that. And if that was to happen, we'd be in another Miller's Landing situation again, where we would have had the opportunity to have protected some green space in our community that has been a priority for our community in the past. In our comprehensive plan, people want to protect our green spaces. They want environmental sustainability. Just like growing up in Stow and seeing us lose so much of our green spaces, so much of our woods, this is a chance to protect an area that is already being encroached upon by apartment buildings. And if a new housing development was to go in at the end of that temporary cul-de-sac, that would prevent us from having that access point to create a park in the future. And another access point that we have, an opportunity that, you know, as I look at this thinking in the long term, is the Conrail Railroad line, where we are hoping, we've been talking for a long time now, negotiating with Metro RTA and different agencies, but our long-term plan has been to turn that into a bike trail from Hudson to Cuyahoga Falls through Stow so that we can bypass the streets that are frankly dangerous for bikers. And if we were able to have the Veterans Trail, there is a spur from that trail that, or from that railroad that abuts the land that we're talking about potentially gaining, that could eventually lead to us being able to build a bike trail that connects to what could be eventually a park. And I know it's not on the Parks Master Plan because we didn't have the opportunity to consider that land in the past, and we don't have any parks in that area that are easily accessible by the residents. I think it would be a huge asset for Ward 4 and for our city as a whole, just to take this chance to get free land in order to create the opportunity of getting a park in the future.
Further comments? Kelly Cough.
I will be supporting this. I think it is more of a benefit, just the possibility of the land being mitigated. We don't pay taxes on the land, reducing the flooding downstream. We own a good portion of the land to the north. And then I also think that this is just something that, I mean, it will come back to council. From speaking with Mr. Priest today, this is just the first step. But when there are specific grants, it will come back and we can reassess at that time. But I really don't see a lot of downside now. Also, in speaking with the city engineer, there's a possibility of a utility easement for a water line there, which would have to be done prior to the grant application because that could preclude some of the grants. But I just see this as being only beneficial.
Further comments? So here are my questions. So I guess this will be to Parks Director Narstead as well as Chief of Staff Wren. So, and I'm, you know, over the years, our parks have been underfunded. The council and this mayor has made a concerted effort to invest more money into the parks that we already have. Obviously money is an issue. If money wasn't an issue, we would have a splash pad already, we would have an amphitheater already. But unfortunately, to have that stuff, you have to spend money to get it. So my question is that if we were to acquire this parcel of land, what priority level would you put it? So for instance, there's a lot of money that's going to be flowing toward one park scheduled over the next couple of years, including $1 million for a big, beautiful nature center down in the Del Durbin Park, as well as support for other neighborhood parks. My concern is that if we're just acquiring land just to acquire it, and we're not, and we're spending money to maintain it, we have these plans, the funds that we have allocated for our existing beautiful parks that our residents go to and enjoy might not receive that funding. So help me get to a yes here by saying what priority this piece of land would be in regard to the overall scheme of the parks as well as investment.
Honestly, it would be a low priority at this time. There's nothing really to maintain there. I could see possibly a small parking lot being about the only improvement in the next 5 years. And that's just so people can access the land and enjoy the nature. But as far as an expense, I don't see much of any.
Okay, so the point is just to acquire it.
Well, it's available, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And look, if this was developable land, it would have been purchased and developed already. So I do take exception to the Miller's Landing comparison, because Miller's Landing was private property that was abutting a development. That Miller's Landing does not fit or comport in any way towards Pamby Farms. I believe it actually reduces the value of the area, and it also has the potential to cause stormwater and other issues for existing homes in the Pamby Farm Marsh area. So those are my comments. Anything else? All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek,
Yes.
McIntyre,
No.
Reel,
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
Number 24-226 has been adopted. It will take effect according to its terms. Items that are on their second reading. 24-243. Will the clerk please read it by its title?
24-243, an ordinance amending certain chapters of COS, particularly 1133.01, 1145.02, 1147.02, 1163.03, and 1177 to create regulations within the City of Stow zoning code to permit adult use cannabis and repealing Chapter 759 entitled Medical Marijuana.
That constitutes its second reading. There will be a public hearing on this item on January 23rd, 2025 at 5 p.m. We also anticipate likely a third reading at that time. Ordinance number 24-242. We are going to just, it's on the table. We're going to keep that on the table. This is Mr. Feldman's piece of legislation. And obviously he's not here to discuss that. So items that on their first reading, will the clerk please read number 25-001 by its title?
25-001, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with the East Ohio Gas Company and a best practical source utility provider for the purchase of natural gas service to heat city facilities for the calendar year of 2025 without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek,
Yes.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Reel,
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
Number 25-001 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I ask the clerk to please read 25-002 by its title.
25-002, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Seabrist Direct, Inc. for purchase and postage for utility billing services for the calendar year 2025 without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-002 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance number 25-003 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-003, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Reels Turf and Tractors CO LLC, a source well vendor, for the purchase of maintenance equipment for the use at Foxden Golf Course without the necessity of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. All right, seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-003 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I ask the clerk to please introduce 2025-004 by its title.
25-004, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract for professional services contract with DLZ for design services for stormwater management improvements around Echo Road between Darrow Road and Highwood Road without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
25-004 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I ask the clerk to please, I introduce 2025-005 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-005, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Preston Chevrolet Kia, Inc. for the purchase of a 2024 Chevrolet 4500 dump truck for the use of the service department without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-005 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 2025-006 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-006, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make an enter to a contract for professional service contract with Kimley Horn for design services for stormwater management improvements around Homewood Ave without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. The rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-006 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 2025-007 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-007, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Jerry Pate Turf and Irrigation, Inc. for the purchase of equipment, parts, and supplies for use by Foxden Golf Course and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-007 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-008 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-008, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Acushnet Company for the purchase of and resale merchandise for use by Foxden Golf Course without the necessity of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-008 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-009 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-009, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter to a contract with Advanced Turf Solutions for the purchase fertilizers and chemicals for the Foxton Golf Course without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-009 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 2025-010 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-010, an ordinance authorizing mayor to make and enter to a contract with Nutrien AG Solutions, Inc. for the purchase of seed fertilizer chemicals for use at Foxton Golf Course without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-10 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-11 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-11, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Ports Petroleum Company, Inc. for a state of Ohio vendor for the purchase of unleaded and diesel fuel for the use at Foxton Golf Course without the necessity of public bid and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-11 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-12 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Coca-Cola Bottling Company for the purchase of resale concession products for the use at Foxton Golf Course without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
Move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-12 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 25-13 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-13, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Stryka Corporation for the purchase of 5 Stryka Life Pack 35 heart monitors for the use of the fire department without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? The chief film. Oh, no. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
25-13 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 2025-14 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Summit County Public Defender Commission, a provider of the criminal defense services for the year 2025 without the necessity of public bids, authorizing the finance director to appropriate, encumber, and pay funds for said services and set forth herein and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-14 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 2025-15 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-15, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to advertise and solicited bids on behalf of the City of Stow for the replacement of the entire surface and partial replacement of the equipment in the old section of the Soar Playground at Silver Springs Park, authorizing and adopting plans and specifications prepared for the city of Stow, therefore, and authorizing the mayor to make and enter into contracts and related documents for said services so long as proper authorization is first obtained in accordance with the section 173.05 COS and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
Move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-15 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-16 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-16, an ordinance amending number 2001-159 and subsequently amended by ordinance numbers 2010-60, 2016-28, 2016-73, 2018-138, 2021-33, 2024-67, and 2024-94, and any other amendments thereto, which were enacted pursuant of Article 12, Section 12 of the City of Stow's Charter, and approving amendments to the rules and regulations adopted by the City of Stow Civil Service Commission on November 12, 2024.
Well done.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
Move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-16 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-17. Ask clerk to please read it by its title.
25-017, an ordinance amending COS Chapter 125 entitled Ordinances and Resolutions, particular Section 125.01 entitled Posting Places, and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-17 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-18 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-18, an ordinance amending Chapter COS Chapter 136 entitled Department of Information Services to change the name of the department to Department of Information Technology and amending any other reference in the codified ordinances of the City of Stow to reflect the change in name of the department.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-18 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-19 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
25-19, an ordinance and authorizing the mayor to make an entrance to a contract with Ohio Edison Company, a sole source utility provider, for the purchase of electric services for the city facilities for the calendar year of 2025 without the necessity of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bioka?
Yes.
2025-19 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce 2025-20 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-20, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into the first renewal of an agreement with the County of Summit and City of Akron for purposes of governing for the use and maintenance of 800 MHz radio system without the megahertz, I know.
It's all good. It's all good.
Without the city of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
No's, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek, McIntyre.
Yes.
Real.
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
2025-20 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce Resolution 2025-21 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-21, an resolution granting site approval and granting certain variances to Michael Novacek, applicant on behalf of 600 Seasons Road Realty Corp. And Denver Collins, owner, for a 250,211 square foot building located at Seasons Road, parcel number 56022348, number 56-01835853, number 56-01852, number 56-04801, number 56-01579, number 56-08177, and number 56-09388 in the city of Stow, Ohio.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. The rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek, McIntyre.
Yes.
Real.
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-21 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce Resolution 2025-22 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-22, a resolution granting lot split approval to Chris Hader, applicant on behalf of Max Auto Real Estate LLC, owner, to permit a lot split of property located at 4401 and 4411 Kent Road in the city of Stow, Ohio, into two separate parcels and granting certain variances.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. The rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Moved and seconded to adopt. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek, McIntyre.
Yes.
Real.
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-22 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 2025-23. Ask clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-023, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Tailor Made Golf Company, Inc. for the purchase and resale merchandise for use by Fox Den Golf Course without the necessity of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek, McIntyre.
Yes.
Real.
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-23 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance number 2025-24 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-204, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with U.S. Foods, Inc. for the purchase of real sale concessions and supplies for use by Fox Den Golf Course without the necessity of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Noes, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek, McIntyre.
Yes.
Real.
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-24 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance 2025-25 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-2025, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter a contract with Allscapes Ohio LLC for zoning abatement work without the necessity of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions. Rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Baranek, McIntyre.
Yes.
Real.
Yes.
Bioka.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-25 has been adopted and will take effect according to its terms. A great Ward 1 business. I introduce ordinance number 2025-26 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-206, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Pitney Bowes for postage for the clerk of courts office and judges for the calendar year 2025 without the necessity of public bids and declare an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bjelka?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-26 has been adopted. It will take effect according to its terms. I introduce ordinance number 2025-27 and ask the clerk to please read it by its title.
2025-207, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to make and enter into a contract with Verizon Communications, Inc. for cellular/data services for the calendar year 2025 without the necessity of public bids and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions, rules are suspended.
I move to adopt.
Discussion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Herman?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Baranek? McIntyre?
Yes.
Reel?
Yes.
Bjelka?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-27 has been adopted. It will take effect according to its terms. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
I move to pay the bills.
Second.
Moved and seconded to pay the bills. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes, abstentions, bills are paid. Scheduling of standing committee meetings. Baranek. McIntyre.
Not at this time.
Herman.
Yes, for planning.
No for public improvements. How about committee of the whole, executive session?
I don't think so at this time.
So, no on that. Did I miss anybody? All right. Does anybody else have anything to come before tonight's city council meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.